Hey friends, welcome to Scrappin' It Up. I'm Vanessa, and this is part 2 of our tutorial on this album. So if you haven't seen this album, go check it out. About a month and a half ago, I put it on YouTube, so if you'll go to my uploads, this will be in there if you want to take a look at it. Or part 1, I just gave a real quick flip through on it. So now, what we're going to do is we built our cover and the 2 pockets, so now we're going to do some of the add-ons. So you need to grab your top file folder, and you're going to need your pencil for this because we're going to write stuff on these so we don't get them mixed up. Okay, so let me get my little cheat sheet here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we are going to need 6. So we want 6 inches. And so you want your tab down here. So put your tab on 6 and cut. Now we are going to label this back flap. And you don't have to worry about this. We're going to cover this up with paper, so it's not going to show. You can erase it later on, but it'll just help you when we go to putting it together. You won't have to be guessing and measuring what goes where. Okay, flip your folder over. Get your tab on the bottom again. And we're going to go 6.5 on this one. Okay, and we're going to say back flap on that one. Okay, and you can set this aside. Grab your other top file folder, and now you want your tab at the bottom, and we're going to cut this at 6. Let's put it on your 6 and cut, and we're going to say front flap. And then flip your file folder around, and you want your tab at the bottom, and we're going to cut this one at 6 too. And put front flap. That'll just save you some time if you mark them or write on them. And okay, so now grab your last file folder, and on this side, the long tab of your top file folder, so your long tab, we want to cut this at 7.5. Okay, let's label that our front page. Set that aside. Now flip your folder over. And now you're going to cut this at 8.5. You want your tab side down, so 8.5. Okay, and put back page on that, and just set that aside. Okay, now we're going to get our hinge done. So what we need, put your paper trimmer away, and we're going to score this. And our hinge is going to be 1/2 inch. So let's see. Okay, so where it's naturally folding, have that at 1.25 inches. And you're going to score on that line. So that's a natural fold. Then we're going to score at 3/4 inch. And that gives us a 1/2 inch. Okay. So what we need to do now, where we scored, we just want 1/2 inch on both sides of this. So grab your paper thinner. And you just put your score line on your 1/2 inch mark. And cut that off. And do the same thing to the other side. You're going to put your score line on your 1/2 inch mark. And cut it. Okay, so there's our hinge. So now what we're going to do, you can throw these pieces away. We don't need those. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add score pile tape. Now I'll find my score pile tape over here. Okay, I'm going to use, for the hinge part, I'm going to use my 1/4 inch. You can use your 3/8, but you don't want to use 1/2 inch because you don't want any score pile tape close to the score line, because we're going to be attaching a page here, so you don't want any score pile tape showing. So that's why I use 1/4 inch. And I just stay closer to the cutted side. And you're going to do both sides, because we're going to be attaching our envelope pocket that we made. Alrighty. And then what we're going to do, we're going to apply our 3/8 inch to this side here. And you want to stay within your score lines. You don't want to get outside of your score line. So you want to be real careful about that. You want to stay inside your score lines. This is what we're putting this here. This is what's going to attach to our other folder. So now you want to burnish these and make sure that score pile tape gets stuck down real good. Okay, and we forgot we gotta burnish this other side that we. And when I burnish, I always make sure what I'm burnishing is tucked under. You're coming there getting a more straighter line that way. And then just burnish your other side. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so now you're going to grab your cover, which the one that we scored, and we wound up a 3/4 inch spine on this. We are going to attach this. And that's why I said if you need to draw lines on here so you can see exactly where you're at, you know, go for it. Just do it lightly so you so they won't show after you erase them. And how I usually do it is put one side down and just kind of line it up. And you want to make sure that you have no overhang on your hinge that you're attaching. If you have some overhang, just trim it off, because you don't want any overhang on this. And when you think you got it, hold it down and then take your score pile tape off. And it's a little bit tricky. And I got mine off, but that's okay. I'll live with that. It's not that bad. And it's quite a difference, but it's okay. And then I just burnish this, make sure you get a good stick down. And one thing I forgot to tell you, you want to miter these corners on this just to make it a little bit easier for your file folders. And you don't want to cut into that score line whatsoever. Just trim them off just a hair. It just makes it easier to fit your folders on. Okay, just like that. Okay. Alrighty, so let's attach our folders that we made. The ones that are like this. You want your middle tab on the right side and your top tab on the left side. And what we're going to do, we're just going to attach them like that. So take off my score pile tape. And you can do this. Some people just take off one side and then attach it. I always just take off two sides and do it. Sometimes it's a trick. And you want to make sure you're lined up before you stick her down. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. Just make sure you flip it back. If you turn it around like that, just make sure you flip it back, because I made one yesterday for this tutorial and I forgot to flip mine back, and so my book was all backwards. So make sure you flip it back. My folder is a little bit too long. Huh. Well, that's no good. Let's see. I just happen to have me another one from my goof up the other day. So I bet I didn't cut that folder down, is why it's off. I bet I didn't trim that folder. Anyway, and you should always make sure before you attach it that it fits. Now, if it didn't fit, like mine, what you could have done is grabbed you another folder and you know, redone it. Okay, and stick her down. There you go. Now you've got your pockets, full-size pockets. Okay, ain't that pretty nifty? Okay, so I'm gonna call it quits on this video, and I will get part 3 going, and we will finish this album up. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.